What is up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Artist Anderson here, ready to talk to you all, have another conversation. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to do a part two from the marriage is a gift from God to men. And so today I want to talk about the aspect of support, how marriage is a great support to men. And so let's jump right on in without wasting any time. Make sure y'all follow on all platforms. Try Forever Love. That's TRY, the number four, Ever Love. Go to our website, tryforeverlove.com. That's TRY, the number four, everlove.com. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. It is the Forever Love Relationship Network. Make sure y'all subscribe. All right, let's jump into this. So I want to talk about marriage being a gift from God to men, just like I did the other day. And I want to talk about support, right? Men have a lot of unspoken pressure that we deal with, right? Men carry a lot of weight. There's a lot of things that men deal with that they don't talk about. There's a lot of things that men feel that they don't talk about. And there's a reason for that. A lot of men carry unspoken pressure, the pressure to provide or steward the provision or protect or lead. And a lot of times that comes without affirmation, it comes without encouragement. And so societal pressure, um, you know, pushes men to perform, right? Without much encouragement in the process. And so support matters a lot to men, like, because even strong men get tired. And so for a lot of men, they don't know that marriage is from God. And this gift helps take that burden off of their shoulders, right? Because even strong men get tired. So strong men get frustrated. Strong men get weak. Strong men get tired. Agitated, right? All the above. And so a man doesn't just need someone in his corner when he's winning. He needs someone in his corner when he's losing also, right? That's why Ecclesiastes chapter 4 tells us that two are better than one. And so marriage is a great, 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 great asset for men, right? When you think about it, what good is a crown if you wear it while you're silently drowning? What would be the point? And so a wife, right, isn't just going to see the crown. She's going to also help hold up the man who's wearing it. And so let's talk about the support aspect, right? Men, this is why you need to get married, right? This is why you need to get married. So many men are falling from grace. I'll just call it like that. I'm not gonna say no names. Time and time again. Men 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, trying to play the field, afraid to commit, afraid to get married. Listen, y'all. God knows what he's doing. God gave Adam a wife for a reason. His wife was to help him and support him and encourage him and help build him up, right? And I don't mean build up as in complete. I mean build up as in if he's having a down moment, a down day, right? Now, there's three aspects of support that men get from being married. That's mental support, emotional support, and spiritual support. All right. Now, when you have a wife, she's going to listen to your ideas. She's going to be there for you when things get pressurized, when the pressure mounts. She's going to be by your side when it's time to make tough decisions. And that wife is going to do it without ridicule. That wife is going to do it without dragging you down or making things worse. Marriage is a great support to men. That's why God gave it to men. When you think about it, Proverbs 31, verse 11, the infamous Proverbs 31 woman chapter, it says, the heart of her husband safely trusts in her, which means when you have a wife, you have somebody who you can trust in. Someone you don't have to do life by yourself. You don't have to think about everything. You don't have to figure everything out. That's a great asset to men. And then you talk about the emotional support that comes from being married, right? She gives him a space. A wife gives a man a space to feel without being judged, to express without having to degrade his masculinity. He doesn't have to fight battles at work and come home and fight battles. That wife is a support system to him. And the world is trying to discourage so many men from getting married. The world is trying to tell men marriage isn't worth it. The world is trying to tell men they should forego marriage, period. And it's like, that's wrong. Whoever is trying to get you to believe this lie, they're lying. It's wrong. Marriage is a great benefit to men. Just yesterday, I talked about how, in part one, I talked about how marriage is a safety for you, and it boosts your success. So when a man gets married, his life improves dramatically. When a man gets married, his life increases. When a man gets married, he doesn't carry the load by himself. And so anybody that's trying to convince you men to not get married, don't listen to them. Marriage was given to you by God as a gift for, well, today, let me just stay on topic. Support, mental support, emotional support, spiritual support. When you don't have to fight battles by yourself, when you don't have to figure out issues by yourself, when you don't have to do life by yourself, it is a great, great, great aspect that you have to consider that will make your life better. Spiritual support. You have a wife who's praying for you, praying with you, reminding you of who you are when life gets difficult or when life tries to make you forget who you are. Uplifting, supportive, encouraging. All of that comes along with marriage. Believe it or not, most men, I'm not a statistics geek, but I'm going to just share this without getting into grave detail. When it comes to men being married, the odds of you being less depressed are great. So let's go a little bit deeper. Why is this support so vital for men? Because it keeps you out of depression. It keeps you out of isolation. It keeps you out of loneliness. A supportive wife becomes a spiritual and emotional barrier against depression, against burnout, and against breakdown, because many men like to suffer in silence. Well, I shouldn't say like to do it, but many men do suffer in silence. But when you have a wife, you don't have to do that. You have somebody you can lean on, talk to, express, cry, whatever you need to get out, you can get it out. And it's not because you're weak, but because if you don't get it out, it's only going to harm you mentally, harm you emotionally, harm you psychologically. And what do we say about the average man? They suffer in silence because they don't get the support they feel they need. Even the strongest tree can break when storms come. Men are no different. And so when men are suffering in silence, that creates a grave danger to society. And society is often teaching men to endure alone, or to man up, or to never break, or even if it's a modern day ideology, right? Oftentimes, culture doesn't care how men feel about things. But God said it's not good for man to be alone. God said, I will make you a helper, suitable just for you. So when we talk about men being married and why it's a gift, who other than God knows what's best for a man? Like, I want you to really think about that. Who knows what's best for men better than God? So here's what you're trying to tell me. Here's what so you're trying to tell me that God who created us and gave us women and gave us women to be our and to for us to choose and take on as a wife. We're saying that the culture knows better than God when the culture's trying to tell you not to get married is not worth it. It's a liability, all types of foolishness. For me, as a married man, I'm not going to pay attention to what single men are saying who are bitter, frustrated, disappointed, and only think negatively about women. I carry a balanced mentality. I don't just go with what people say. I study for myself. I pay attention. I listen. I actually see what's going on. And for a lot of men, they do not have the number one thing they need, which is a wife. You need a wife. Now, am I saying that you can't do life and be successful without one? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is for the average man and the majority of men, having a wife is a great benefit to you and it is a gift to you. The just mere presence of a wife in your home matters. And sometimes just her being there without even saying anything matters the most, especially when it's a praying woman, an encouraging woman, an affirming woman, a nurturing woman. See, this type of woman who becomes your wife, who is your wife, causes you to have a much better day-to-day life and a higher quality of life because she's going to bring greatness to your life. Think about some of the most successful men to have ever lived, especially in business, etc. These men were married. Building families. You know what's crazy about our generation? Black people always want to talk about generational wealth, but they never want to talk about the family. All of the rich families that people admire, they're married. They have a husband and a wife in the home. The presence of a wife is a daily reminder that you're not forgotten and that you're not alone and that you're not carrying things all by yourself. The touch of a woman is comforting. The tone of a woman eases your stress. That wife, which has great timing, knowing when to speak, how to talk to you, when to just sit with you. She can lift burdens and anxieties and worries without even a word. Don't see, let me say it this way. For men, for men, for men, one of the greatest tactics against you that the devil tries to throw at you is isolation. But a wise wife can interrupt that plan. Now, just like yesterday, I know a lot of men who might hear this and say, man, women terrible, all women, this, that, and the third, and women just da da da. Listen, I'm not saying that there's no terrible women out here. Women. I'm not saying that. But this goes back to the universal master key, like I talked about yesterday. Don't blame women because you don't know how to identify a wife. Don't blame culture. There's way more women than men on the earth, on the planet. So you have more than enough options to choose from. It's your job to be able to vet a wife. This is the universal master key. You must be able to vet a wife. All women are not supportive. All women are not encouraging. Some women will be a liability. Don't choose that one. Don't choose the woman who looks good but is a liability. No, you have to get to know. Let me say it this way. When you meet a woman, you have to get to know her a certain way. You have to vet her a certain way because remember, you are bringing this woman into your life to be an asset to you. Remember what God said. I will make a helper suitable for you, Adam. So what's the principle? The wife you choose must be suitable for you. Every man has different purposes, different visions, different accomplishments, different assignments, different things that they set out to do. So you need to choose a wife that fits your life. But you can't blame the world and blame all women and say all women are trash and women just this. We cannot just keep as men, hear me clearly, as men. Are you a man? As men, are you a man? As men, we know that there are some women out there who just use you for your money, use you for your status. We know that. But there are a lot of great women out here who would make wives. Your job is to learn how to assess and vet one and choose her and marry her so that she can be all of the things that I'm saying that a wife is to a man. Because when God gave us marriage, it was a gift. The blueprint is Adam and Eve because when Adam was given a wife, he had already had purpose, he had already had a vision, he had already had work, and he needed help with that. So his wife was a partner with him in that life. You need to watch if you're interested in a woman, you need to watch how she supports other people, not just in a romantic way. You need to watch how she talks to people, treats people, not just people who can do something for her, not just people who she benefits from, but for the people who can help her with nothing, the people who are below her, the people who are have less money than her, the people, the waiters, the waitresses, the janitors. Like, see how she treats those people. Does she honor authority? Does she speak life? Is she all about drama or is she all about peace? Is she led by God? Can she lift you up when you're hurting? Can she lift you up when she's hurting? Can she put herself aside at times when you need her to for the greater good? Can you struggle in front of her and not feel small or feel belittled? There are green flags that you can recognize in a wife type woman. It is the encouragement, the accountability, the ability to intercede in prayer for you, her gentleness, her softness, her humility. So all in all, what I'm trying to get men to understand is marriage is a beautiful thing and it is a gift. Don't let anyone convince you not to pursue marriage. Save yourself from a lot of the drama you see all of these single men going through. Baby mamas, child support court, lawsuits, all sorts of stuff. And I know everybody's going to tell me, well, what about all the women divorcing their man because they're not happy? I'm all I can say is they chose wrong. That's all I can say about that. I don't know until I can know each and every situation and know every single detail and know every single outcome, then I can't speak on it. All I know is if you choose right, you'll be married. You'll stay married and you'll live happily ever after. Marriage is a gift. Cherish it, pursue it. It is a benefit to men. I said it yesterday. As a married man, it's going to make you more successful and it's going to bring you safety. And today I'm telling you, marriage is going to protect you. Marriage is going to provide support for you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, psychologically. So marriage is the key to protecting yourself. Marriage is the key. And you have to guard your marriage and protect your marriage. You have to do that. Don't listen to what everybody's saying. Listen to what God said. God made man, and then he gave that man a wife. Why? Because he knows what you need more than any human being on the planet. God knows you need a wife. Man shall not live alone. It's not good for man to be alone. I hope this helps. I hope you're encouraged by this. I hope that this has given you more things to think about, more things to consider. Do me a favor. Make sure you like the video, share the video. Make sure you go over to all of our platforms, Instagram, TikTok, etc., and make sure you follow. Also, make sure you go to the YouTube page, the Forever Love Relationship Network, and subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you soon for another video, another time. Appreciate you all. Watch how we flipping it. Watch how we living it. Watch how we winning it. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Watch. Watch.